I find that there are so many people living in what I've started calling purgatory. So is that in between. They're not in hell, so they're not like in extreme pain or living in extreme stress on a regular basis, but they're also not in heaven. So they're not living a life full of joy and fulfillment. They're just kind of coasting in between somewhere, and sometimes coasting, sometimes kind of forcing it, because after you get over the hump of debilitating trauma or debilitating stress and anxiety, after you get like right above that hump, then you feel amazing, right? You feel brand new. You feel like a whole new person. And a lot of times people will stop the process right there. And obviously, I'm always speaking from experience, mine and those clients who I serve. Just it's so easy to feel better and then stop doing the work, right? And that's when people kind of get to this steady state. Now, to be fair, let me say, it's there's something comforting about feeling or acting, being like or similar to the people around you. So your colleagues and your friends and family, like there's something comforting in not feeling so alienated or so different from the majority of other people in your circle. So I definitely understand just the basic human desire to feel loved and accepted, and that comes with wanting to fit in to a certain extent. But here's the kicker. Usually, when people work to fit in, and they really don't fit in, that is, they really don't. Like, everybody is so unique. But when people work to make this their steady state and they're okay with that, usually they're not happy, they're not fulfilled. They don't know how to navigate their life in a way that actually works for them. And when I say actually works for them, I mean gives them what they need and what they desire. And that's the part that's disheartening, because I've been doing this trauma work for almost 8 years now. Yeah, almost 8 years. And I've seen it time and time again where somebody will be making such great progress, and then they kind of get over the big hump, or what they feel is a big hump, and then they stop and they feel great for a minute, and then they start to regress because there's no progress being made. And really, the only success is in progress. You have to be making inroads towards your goals, towards your desires, really creating the life you want. Is possible. In fact, it's kind of necessary. That's why you get stuck in purgatory. And there's no actual religious context. I'm just calling it purgatory because most people understand what that means. Stuck in the middle. Okay? So when I say it's time to elevate, I mean healing trauma is not enough. Okay? It's not enough to say this is the biggest thing that has been kind of holding me back or holding me down, or this is the thing I haven't been able to move past, step above, and work and pound that thing in the ground and work to get from under it. Like, that's great and it's needed sometimes, but it is not enough. So the elevation comes with what I call intimacy. And that is learning intimacy and using intimacy as the answer to your trauma pains, your healing process, but also how you thrive in your life. Because most of us have some trauma, right? But if you're so focused on the trauma, you have no room left for who you are outside of that. That's not you. Your trauma is not who you are. It's not your whole being. It's not your reason for being either. It's something that happened to you that maybe dug really deep and got you stuck somewhere that you didn't want to be anymore. It's also, of course, something that happened to you that helped you become who you are today. They gave you some answers to some questions you might have had or didn't even know you had. They helped you realize something you wanted, or someone you wanted to be who you didn't even know before. So it helps us in so many ways, yet we kind of give our power away to the trauma and say, this is the thing that is like making or breaking my life. And that's so difficult for me to see over and over again. And so this year, I am dedicating my time and energy to, of course, still serving you all in the trauma area, but showing another side, I guess, a different side of how you can thrive or what life can be, who you can be after trauma. And that is through intimacy. You have to learn intimacy. Obviously, you don't have to do anything. This is really me in my experiences with myself and with other people who I serve, clients I coach. This is me taking my experience and sharing it, and I really hope you get something out of it, okay? So learning intimacy was the thing that transferred my life and my life's work from trauma healing into real fulfillment, true joy about my life, my little life, like complete joy about my little life, regardless of what it looked like in comparison to others, regardless of if it was in line with the things that I wrote down, as my goals I wanted to reach 10 years ago. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Once I learned intimacy in a way that edified me, it edified everybody around me and is instilled in every part of my life. And it makes a huge, huge difference. So we're going to continue this conversation, you all, on how to get past that purgatory level and really push off into intimacy and allow that to help you thrive, reach your goals, and really have a joyful life that is consistent. Not, and I don't mean every day you're just like, oh, life is so exciting, but all in all, like when you count it up, when you measure it, your life is full of joy and love and fulfillment. And instead of fight, instead of struggle, instead of constant work, you gotta work. We all have to work. And most of it is internal work. We all have to do the work. But when you're doing it from a place of love, it doesn't feel like hard work. Okay? So we'll continue to dive into this. And I will spend some time explaining to you all what I mean by intimacy and what that looks like for us, especially people who are I hate to say survivors, but I guess that's right. Trauma survivors. I guess that's true. Either trauma survivors or still, deep in some trauma pain. So more to come, you all. I'm so happy to delve into this with you all. Let's talk about it. All right. Until next time, peace and love.